No, I think they're definitely improved. And I think by next season, the Raiders in 2016 are a playoff threat. I don't think they're a playoff threat this season, but I think they're trending up, which is good for Raiders Week, and it's good for the NFL because you either love the Raiders or you hate the Raiders. And it's hard to do either when, like you said, they've been bad for so long. The two most improved teams in the league, I would think right now at the quarter pole, would be the New York Jets. I think that defense is for real.
Okay.
And I think Arizona's improved enough that I think Arizona is a legitimate play, not only make the playoff team, but can do damage in the playoff
You didn't even mention the team that I would say by far is the most improved team in the league.
Which one?
Atlanta couldn't play a lick of defense last year.
The good choice.
And Atlanta couldn't run the ball worth a damn last year.
Good choice.
And now with Dan Quinn as the new head coach and a former defensive coordinator in Seattle, they don't have great talent on defense, but they're running that scheme very, very nicely. And they've got an embarrassment of riches at running back now with Coleman and Freeman. I mean, they've got two running backs that anybody would take in fantasy.
Right.
And they're 4-0. They are playoff bound. I'm convinced they're playoff bound. I know Carolina is also in that division, and they're 4-0. The Raiders are not playoff bound.
No, they're not.
The Raiders, I'm going to tell you right now, the Raiders are not going to have a winning season.
I agree with that.
They might be 6-10. They might be 7-9. They're going to be improved.
Right.
They might even be 8-8.
Right.
They're going to be improved. They're not going to have a winning season.
They might even beat the first place team.
We'll talk about that in a second. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to be above 500. So they're better, but they're not anywhere near the most improved team in this league.
Your call on Atlanta is very interesting to me because, 3-4 years ago with Matt Ryan, and I think Matt Ryan's is he elite quarterback? No, but I think he's just below elite quarterback. I thought Atlanta was a team definitely on the rise and a team that would have staying power as a championship contender. Then they went to the playoffs a couple years, got bounced either badly or in heartbreaking fashion from the playoffs, and I think that core got disheartened. And the coaching change was very, very good for the Falcons because it's rejuvenated them and got them thinking again that, yeah, we are pretty darn good.
All right, so let's get your prediction on the Raiders game.
Do I have to say?
Yeah, you do.
The Raiders are going to beat the Broncos. I said that.
You're serious? You're not saying that just to poke people in the eye or anything. You really believe? You believe the Raiders are going to beat the Broncos, or you believe the Raiders can beat the Broncos?
I believe that the Raiders have. It's a coin flip. It's right there, and there's a couple reasons. I think the Raiders have a good young quarterback. If you like Teddy Bridgewater, you're going to like this guy Carr as well. And if you thought Teddy Bridgewater could do some damage to the Broncos a week ago, Carr can as well. The Raiders have a running back that can tote the rock. The Raiders, in a rookie from Alabama, Cooper, have a legitimate target. And the Raiders in Mack have a legitimate edge rusher. I think there's enough elements there that when you combine that with the fact the Broncos have lived on the edge at least 3 weeks out of 4, and the fact that it is a road game in the division, and the Broncos can't win division games forever, that it's...
Why not?
That it,
it feels like they have.
That it sets up...
They haven't lost a division game since the Thursday night game against San Diego.
Right.
2 years ago.
Right. That's the only division game that Peyton Manning's ever lost with the Broncos. Can I...
I'm not with you here. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm just not with you here.
Okay.
In fact, I think it could be a blowout.
You could be right.
I think it could be a blowout, and I'll tell you why. Derek Carr is more in control. He is more mature. It's his second year in the league. He's expected to be better. And he looks it. He does look it. They put better weapons around him, which makes him better as well.
Sure.
However, the offensive line is still shaky, and the Broncos are going to come after him, as Greg Hardy would say, with all guns blazing. And I think they're going to rattle him.
They might.
Amari Cooper is a beast. Woody and I have loved him from day one.
Right.
Amari Cooper is a beast. Woody will be joining us in a second.
Hi, Woody.
But the Broncos also have Aqib Talib and Chris Harris and Roby and TJ Ward and Darian Stewart, and I wouldn't be surprised if they double him because he is the Raiders' biggest threat. And the Raiders' Achilles heel right now is their pass defense. And I believe the Broncos are trending upward when it comes to passing offense. I think this offensive line played pretty well last week. I think Peyton is angry at himself and is going to play better. And I think this could be a blowout.
Okay, and I acknowledge that you could be correct.